Hey all, here's the answer video for the third task card, and both of the dogs are sleeping on the couches next to me, so you may hear some snoring in the background. So just ignore that if you happen to hear it. So task 1 for this week says two friends each ate 1/2 of a pizza. Jocelyn says they must have eaten the same amount, but Donnie says they could have eaten different amounts. Who do you think is correct and why? Explain your thinking in words, pictures, and numbers. So mathematically, you may be thinking, okay, 1/2 equals 1/2, which is true. So if you're just thinking about it from a math standpoint, this statement is not false. However, if you get, I know Hungry Howie's has a junior size pizza. On their menu it says junior, $3. I don't remember how many pieces it's cut into, but Ethan likes that size. And then let's say maybe we get a large. And a lot of times larges are cut into 8 pieces. So let's say Mr. Leonard and I eat half a pizza. And let's say Ethan eats half a pizza. Did we eat the same amount of pizza? No, because this half takes up less space than this half, right? So technically, even though we both ate 1/2 of a pizza, we didn't technically eat the same exact amount of pizza. We each ate 1/2 of a pizza, but in terms of actual physical pizza, we did not eat the same amount. So I would say, even though my reasoning would say, even though Jocelyn, whoops, I tried to write and 8 at the same time. And Donnie both ate 1/2 of a pizza. I could have eaten a different amount. I can't stop yawning. The dogs are making me tired with their snoring over here. I could have eaten a different amount of actual pizza. And I'll say, for example, a junior or a personal pan pizza. Actually, here, 1/2 of a junior or personal pan pizza is less pizza and I'll write my little, even though mathematically speaking, whoops, 1/2 is equivalent to 1/2. So you could solve this problem better or answer it better if you knew, were they eating the same pizza? Were they sharing a pizza? Did they have separate orders? So if this were really an EOG question or a question that you had to answer in class or something or on a test or whatever, you would not be able to answer it just like this. You would need to know, okay, well, are they sharing a pizza? Did they split a pizza? What size pizzas did they have? So this one was an open-ended question just to get you thinking. Okay, task 2. Mrs. Johnson and Mrs. Black each gave 1/2 of their students a pencil. Mrs. Johnson handed out 5 more pencils than Mrs. Black. What can we say about the number of students in each class? If Mrs. Johnson handed out 16 pencils and that was 5 more than Mrs. Black, how many students are in each class? So let's make a quick table. Johnson gave out to half class. Mrs. Black also gave out to half of her class. And let's see, Mrs. Johnson handed out 5 more pencils than Mrs. Black. And she handed out 16. So, what do we need to know? Let's see. How many students are in each class? And what can we say about the number of students in each class? Okay, so let's do our workout here. So if 16, Johnson gave out 16, Mrs. Black would have been 16 minus 5, because I know that Mrs. Johnson gave out 5 more, so whatever Mrs. Black had would be something, we'll pretend we don't know that yet, plus 5 would equal 16. So we can do the reverse. 16 minus 5 would give me 11 pencils. 11 plus 5 would give me 16. So we know that Miss Johnson gave out 16 pencils. Mrs. Black gave out 11. And that is half of their class. So to figure out the total number of kids in their class, you could multiply by 2. And that would give you 32 and 22. And then you would just write your answer really quick. Add 32 students. And 22 students. And the other part of the question said, what can we say about the number of students in each class? We can say 32 is greater than 22. We could also say that Mrs. Johnson had 10 more students. And that is it for task 3 is a little bit more involved, so I went ahead and did some of it ahead of time. So the first thing I did was draw our little land of gallon, and you can see 1 gallon has 4 quarts, it has 8 pints, and it has 16 cups. You can remember our silly story about the land of gallon there. And then under what we already know, Jerry made 1 gallon of sweetened tea. He made a half gallon of lemonade. He drank 1/4 of each of those containers. And the question, or the problem wants us to, the task is asking us how many cups of tea did he drink, how many cups of lemonade, and if he drank 2 cups of tea, what fraction of the tea did he drink? So this is several different steps. So for the first part, let's figure out how many cups of tea and how many cups of lemonade. So when you see this word of, it means to multiply when we are talking about fractions. So if you have 1 gallon, first of all, we need to convert to cups. So I know 1 gallon is equivalent to or equal to 16 cups. So we need to find what 1/4 of 16 is, because he made 1 full gallon of sweetened tea. That means he has 16 cups. So this is tea. So 16 times 1/4. And remember, we can always put a 1 under any whole number and it'll make it a fraction without changing the value. This still tells me that I have 16. We multiply straight across. 16 times 1 is 16. 1 times 4 is 4. And then this fraction bar, remember, means divide by. So 16 divided by 4 is 4. So he drank 4 cups of tea. Now, it's a little bit different with the half gallon of lemonade because he didn't have 16, he had half of 16. And without doing the math, just doing it in your head, you know that 1/2 of 16 is 8. So again, we'll put a 1 in the denominator, multiply by 1/4. We get 8 times 1 is 8, 1 times 4 is 4, then we divide. 8 divided by 4 is 2. So Jerry drank 2 cups of lemonade. Now, the last part is a little bit trickier. It says if he drank 2 cups of tea instead, what fraction of the tea did he drink? So we know that he drank 2, and each of these cups is worth 1/16. So each cup is 1/16 of this whole gallon. Does that make sense? Because there's 16 cups. So obviously 1 cup would be 1/16 of the full gallon. So if we drank 2, we need to figure out how many 16ths that is. And you can probably do that in your head, but I'll show you what the math looks like anyway. So we put 1 under this whole number to make it into a fraction. 2 times 1 is 2. 1 times 16 is 16. And then we divide 2 divided by 16. It's a little bit hard to think of it that way, so if you want, you can just divide straight across like that. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 16 divided by 2 equals 8. That's a little bit more appropriate for 4th and 5th grade to think of it in terms of that. So 1/8. Jerry would have had 1/8 of, just making sure I read the problem the right way. Oh, I forgot about the fraction of the lemonade, but that wouldn't have changed because he still drank the same amount of lemonade of the tea. And, oh, but we didn't do the fraction. We'll do the same thing. Would have had 1/8 of the tea, and we'll do the same thing. 2, and this time it's out of 8. I skipped over that part first. And 1/4, and we'll label this tea, lemonade. Okay, and that is all for this week. Feel free to email me if you have questions or anything you need clarified. Otherwise, we'll see you in a week.